Do you want to lose weight using the Starch Solution diet? Well, here are my top 10 tips. Hello, my honeys. If you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, a weight loss specialist, and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, where you work with me, as well as a mindset coach and a nutrition coach to lose weight on a plant-based diet. If you're ready to fast track it, just click the link in the down bar. Let's get you started. If you haven't already, please do make sure that you've watched the video about how to transition to a plant-based diet so that you have an overview of what the Starch Solution diet even looks like. So I have plenty of videos that go over this. Here are some of them right now on the screen, and they're linked in the down bar. So make sure you have an idea of this diet before I give you the practical tips of how to actually implement it and make it flawlessly integrate with your day-to-day. As you know, in the Slim on Starch program, I focus on both food and mindset. We focus on nutrition and mindset. If you are in the program, you work with me as well as a nutrition coach and a mindset coach. So the first 5 tips that I'm going to give you are going to be around nutrition, and the last 5 tips are going to be around mindset. Tip number 1 is to pick 3 core recipes for this season. So what season are we currently in? Let's say it's fall when you're watching this video. I know that in the fall time, I love me some soups. So I would pull out my Healthy Soups cookbook, which you can get for immediate download in the down bar if you want it, and I would pick out my 3 favorite soups. Maybe I would choose the lentil soup, maybe I would choose the French onion soup, maybe I would choose the pumpkin chili soup. And what I would do is every Sunday I would batch cook those 3 recipes and have them on rotate. I would utilize the freezer. I'd put them in the freezer. I'd put them in the fridge in individual containers. And those are my core recipes for the season. As we move into a new season, I'm going to take out my cookbooks again, or I'll hop online and I'll find 3 new core recipes for that season. Tip number 2, I want you to find 2 emergency takeout or delivery places, because what happens is people will be all gung-ho about this lifestyle, and then they'll say, and then I got home from a business trip, I was just exhausted, I was taking the kids around, I was driving people, my mom got sick, I had to take care of her, I had to bring her to the hospital, and I just fell off plan. But what if you had those 2 places in your back pocket that you knew you could get takeout from that were Starch Solution friendly? Asian places rock. You can get steamed vegetables, you can get steamed rice, you can get sushi, another great takeout option. Steakhouses are awesome because they have baked potatoes. You can get steamed vegetables from them as well, or you can get a salad and a baked potato. Make sure you keep off the dressing. Make sure you keep off the cheese and the animal products. But find those and keep those in your back pocket so that when you are super tempted to just order delivery or takeout, you still can, but it's Starch Solution approved. In the Slim on Starch program, I actually have an entire document with all the SOS-friendly chain restaurants, as well as the SOS-friendly Slim on Starch, that's what I mean by SOS-friendly restaurants that may not be chains. And I even have a restaurant call script. I have a restaurant email script so that you can email these places or call them so that they can make you something that's Slim on Starch approved. I got you covered. If you are a client of mine, pull out that resource, and I want you to check off 2 places that are going to be your emergency places. Tip number 3 is to utilize the freezer. So for all my Slim on Starchers, when you guys are doing your food prep from the week 2 module, don't forget about the freezer. After you cook up all of your grains, or you cook up all of your potatoes, or even your sweet potatoes that haven't been cooked yet can just go directly into the freezer. After you batch cook your soups or your stews, put them in the freezer. They could stay there for up to a year. I have things that have been in my freezer. I have Indian food that's been in my freezer for a few months that I've cooked that I'm going to reheat it when the time is right. But the freezer is a beautiful resource to not neglect. Also, buying frozen vegetables or buying frozen fruit. Those are things that it can be utilized as well. And if you don't want to spend the time to cook grains, for example, you can buy frozen rice that is steam ready. It doesn't have any oil or any butter added to it. You can just throw that in the microwave, or you can buy vegetables that are in the steam ready bags. You can throw those in the microwave as well. So the freezer can be your friend in a couple of ways. It can be your friend for storing the foods that you've already prepared, and it also can be your friend because it can be the home of steam-ready vegetable bags that are from the freezer section of your local grocery store. Tip number 4 is to make your own cabinet or your own little section of the freezer that's separate from everyone else's. Environment is a huge determinant of success. And I understand, as somebody who lives with others, my boyfriend doesn't eat this way, that there's going to be other food in the house. And it's not realistic for everybody to live in an environment that doesn't have that food in the house. And that is okay. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. You may have heard in this whole food plant-based world that you have to have a clean environment or you won't be successful. And I don't believe that to be true. I live in a quote unquote unclean environment, even though my environment is very clean and I clean it every day. But you know what I mean by that. I don't believe that you have to be in a place where there's absolutely no food. Yeah, it'd be easier if that was the case, but it's not realistic for everyone. So how can we make it so that you still have your little place? Can you have separate cabinets? My boyfriend and I have separate cabinets. We actually divided the fridge in half. So I have one half of the fridge and he has the other half of the fridge. Can you have just a little cabinet? When I lived at home with my parents, I had one little drawer in the fridge. That was my drawer, and that's where all my veggies went. I kept my food out in a separate room. That's where I kept my potatoes and my greens. So can you communicate that with your family and have your own little section so that you don't have to see what everyone else is eating and dig through it and, pull aside the pizza to find your vegetables? Can you just have your little sanctuary? Tip number 5 is to put food prep on your calendar. So my SOSers, I know that you guys do this, my Slim on Starchers, and to be held accountable for it. So for my clients, they'll take a photo and they'll put it in the chat with me so that I can see that they've done it and give them a big thumbs up, or they'll put it into our private Facebook group that's just for my clients so that they can have the support there of people saying, goals, this looks amazing, I just did mine. But you have to prioritize it. And you have to put it in your calendar just like you do everything else. You put in when you have a work meeting. How are you going to be able to show up as your best self in that work meeting if you are not properly nourished and fed? You have to make sure that you are setting aside time to food prep as a non-negotiable. Pull out your planner, pull out your calendar, and put it in there right now. And if you don't use a planner and you don't use a calendar, today you are starting, and that's the first thing that's going in there. After, if you haven't already applied to the Slim on Starch program and put your call with me into the calendar, that should be in there too. But this absolutely has to be a priority that you make time for. Because really what it is it's not that you're prioritizing food prep, it's that you're prioritizing yourself. And you're making your self-care something of the utmost importance. Tip number 6, we're moving into the mindset category. Tip number 6 is to discover and remind yourself of why you are doing this. And we have to dig deep. My Slim on Starchers know that in week 5 of the program, we have you discover your deep why for why you're doing this way below the surface. We really dig deep here. It's very easy for us to, in the heat of the moment, lose sight of why we are deciding to make this lifestyle change. And I'm going to tell you something. If weight loss is the only thing that's driving you, you're going to get into trouble because someday the weight loss is going to stop. So we have to think of something deeper here. And if you need help discovering what that really is below the surface, then we can do that together. But if you already know what that is, now you have to remind yourself of it because you're going to lose sight of it in the day-to-day shuffle. So how are you going to remind yourself every single day of why you are choosing to make this decision, and reminding yourself again that this is about more than just the number on the scale? Tip number 7 is to recognize the difference between motivation versus commitment. Motivation is doing things when you want to do them. Commitment is doing things when you don't want to do them. Do you think that you're going to be successful if you rely only on motivation? If you have a day that you're not feeling motivated, that is good because you A, recognize it, and B, that's when a big old brain rewiring is going to happen. So if you have a day that you're like, I don't feel like doing this, think back to this video, bookmark this video if you have to. Look me in the eyes as I tell you this. Today is a big day of change for you. Your brain is going to go through a major workout, and tomorrow you are going to feel like a different person. Because if you're not feeling motivated and you still eat this way, that is the recipe of the greats. They eat this way when they want to eat this way, and they eat this way on the days that they don't feel like it either. That is where success derives from. Your ability to commit to something in the days that you don't want to do it. And that's what's great too about the Slim on Starch program is I'm going to see you on days that you don't feel like being there. And that's why you sign up for the program, because you know that not every day of our lives is hunky-dory. Days are difficult. Being a human is difficult. And you have to have people here to support you as a safety net on those days that you don't want to do it. And you say, man, I paid for this program. I invest in this program. I have to do this, even on the days when I don't feel like it. But at least I have the support here to guide me through it, so you don't have to do it alone. Tip number 8 for mindset is to surround yourself with SOSers virtually, because in person is probably going to be difficult. We live in a world that it's not whole food plant-based. And if you are constantly surrounded in your physical world by others that are not eating this way, we have to have you have a little sanctuary, perhaps online, where you have people that understand you, that support you, and that want you to succeed. I strongly believe that rising tides raise all ships. And I also believe that the only way to keep what we have is to give it away. So you can rely on me. I'm going to be here supporting you. If you are healthy, that is a win for me, because that fills my bucket. So listen to my videos, listen to my podcasts, follow me on Instagram, watch my stories. Join the Slim on Starch program so you can actually talk to me as opposed to just listening to my videos, and we can make it work for you. Join the Healthy Hunnies Facebook group. If you're in my program now, post in the Facebook group right now with anything, absolutely anything, just so that you can strengthen your community bond and find others that want to cheer you on. Just post what your favorite food is, or what your last meal was, or what you're going to be eating later. Surround yourself with people that understand you and want you to succeed. Go to where you're appreciated, not to where you're tolerated. Mindset tip number 9 is be okay with temporary discomfort. The amount of success in your life is directly correlated with the amount of discomfort you are willing to sit with. So if you have the ability to sit with temporary discomfort for long-term benefit, you will be successful. Because the temporary discomfort that comes from a lifestyle change is not going to last forever. I promise you. There is a light at the end of this tunnel. Tip number 10, the most important tip, is to click the link in the down bar and send in an application to work with me right this minute. Do not hesitate. The more you think about it, the more you're going to think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. Tomorrow never happens. Tomorrow has never come in the history of ever. All that we've ever had is today. Tomorrow is a procrastinator's dream. Today is the action taker's pathway to success. If you want to be successful, take action right now. If you're already a client of mine, I absolutely adore you. If you're a past client of mine and you need more help, you know where to find me, and my door is open to you. Let's get back on track. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video. Woo!